everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Whitney, and today we are back at it again with another Moving Up Monday. So today on our weekly segment of a Moving Up Monday, I come to you guys and I give you guys a little bit of tips on how to get your day started, how to get your week started, how to get something started, right? Like there may be something in our lives that needs a little bit of working on, and Mondays are just, you know, it's a Monday. We don't want to do anything on a Monday. So I come on here, I want to help you guys in short videos because I don't want to keep you forever. I just want to get straight to the point, and I want to be able to encourage you to get a move on whatever it is that you're going through. Basically and truly, this also helps me out because on Mondays I know that like I don't want to do anything and I'd rather not do anything, but I'm trying to be successful, so I can't not do anything. So like don't get me on that English there. So basically I'm here so that way we can be motivated to move. One thing that I also want to let you guys know is that I do have a segment here on my channel called A Writer's Scope, where you send to my email whatever advice you need, whatever advice you're going through, like whatever problems you need advice on. I want to give you a third party's perspective on that, and I want to be able to help you guys in any way that I can. The point of this is basically to give you guys, like I said, a third party's perspective on your issues. If you need help, if nobody's helping you, if you just need someone who's not in your bubble to look at your issue and tell you what to do, right? I come on here and I tell you guys this every single time. My word is not the law. I just want to be able to help you guys because I come on this platform to help everyone and anyone, even if it is just one person. So while I got all of that out the way, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you guys came in here for. Like, I know you saw the title of this video, so let's get right on into it. 7 tips on how to build a strong relationship. Okay, boom, let's talk about it. 1, honesty. Let's talk about it, okay? Not just honesty. Everybody knows that you got to be honest to have a strong relationship. Okay, that's given. But you got to be brutally honest, okay? And let me tell you about this, because for me, I need the brutal honesty, and you have to gauge your relationship. You have to be 1000% brutally honest with yourself about the dynamic within your relationship. Do you think this is going to last long? Do you think they are a keeper? Do you guys have the same goals in mind? You have to be brutally honest. What are you willing to cooperate with? What are you willing to sacrifice? What will or will you not tolerate? You have to be brutally honest with yourself, and you have to be brutally honest with your partner, because if you're not, that's doing them a disservice, because you guys can have a difference in something and they could think you guys are on the same page, and then all of a sudden you're hitting them in the side like, oh, I actually don't like this, or actually I don't want any kids, and they're like, what? And then now you have this whole problem because you weren't honest in the first place. Honesty, brutal honesty, I'm telling you, really helps a relationship. It hurts, it definitely hurts, but it's also your delivery on how you can, you know, give them that brutal honesty, give them that message. So number 1, I say to be honest, be brutally honest with yourself and with your partner. Number 2, long-term compatibility. Like I mentioned, right, you guys got to talk about what you want for the future. For example, my boyfriend's in med school right now, and I'm trying to be a lawyer right now, right? Like, one big thing that I think that we definitely need to discuss is how many kids we want. You know, are we going to buy a house, or are we going to build a house, right? Did I say kids? How many kids we want? And our loans, okay? Like, let's just throw all of that out of the way. It's not number 1 because we can still live our lives even though we're going to have a bulk of loans, but he's going to have a lot of loans and I'm going to have a lot of loans. And whether that is with or without a scholarship, even if you have a full ride, you still have to, like, you can't work while you're in school. He's in school for 4 years, I'm in school for 3 years, like, and he's gonna have residency after that, where they do get paid, which is a blessing, but you still have to pay your loans during that process, I believe, because loans come after 6 months of you not being in school. I don't know if they have something going on for residency, but besides that, like, we have to think about that because our loans combined could probably buy a pretty good house. Like, it could probably buy a pretty good house, but that's something that, like, we're compatible on in a sense, because I worry about it, he doesn't, and it works perfectly. And let me tell you why. Because I know how to budget, I know how to finance. He knows how to budget as well, and he knows how to do the finances as well. but it's not his thing. So I have full control over where our money goes, over how much we're going to spend, over how many cars we're going to buy. Like, I got it. Like, I got it covered, basically. I know when we're going to pay off our loans. Well, I will know when we're going to pay off our loans, because like I can only guesstimate now, but I have a plan. And the reason why I say that you guys have to have long-term compatibility, because even though you may not be thinking about the future right now, like there's some people who are trying to build for the future, or who are trying to take steps so that way their future could be easier, and there's some people who are more focused on the present, right? Like there's good and bad things on both sides, just focusing on the present and just focusing on the future. But in its entirety, you have to be able to talk about the future, because the future is literally coming. Like, you can't stop it. You're not sure what's going to happen in the future, and so you have to be prepared. And so the reason why I say long-term compatibility is because you guys have to have some sort of understanding of what's going to be the next steps, and if you guys agree on the next steps. Another example, when my boyfriend's in school right now, and when I get into law school, my law school is 3 years, his law school is 4 years. He'll have 3 years left when I begin, and so we're planning a trip to Japan for when we graduate, right? But that doesn't, you don't just fly off and go to Japan. Like, no, you gotta plan for it. So what is your long-term compatibility? What do you guys both want for the future? Do you guys both want 3 kids? My boyfriend only wants 2, but he's like, we're gonna have 3. And like, it's things like that. Or even like working in the house, right? Even if you guys are not living together, you have to talk about the house, the domestic, let's call it that. You have to talk about the domestic duties and kind of like your roles within the house. And really and truly, you don't really know until you're doing it, but basically how you mold together and how you guys combine your compatibility is going to test your longevity of the relationship and how strong your relationship is. And this is for literally anything. Like, how are you guys compatible with your humor, with talking about things? How are you guys compatible just in general? Like, are you guys best friends who happen to have dated, or is this something that just was random and it was kind of like a business arrangement and you're not too sure what's gonna happen? Like, this is something that genuinely needs to be talked about. Talk about your long-term compatibility with your partner. What does he want? What does she want? What do you want? Number 3, you guys have to have equal goals for building within the relationship. So I know I talked about honesty, and I know I talked about long-term compatibility. However, within your relationship, what is the goals that you guys want to reach, right? Like, what is something that you guys both want to work on together as a unit? So for example, one thing could be, I know this is like number 1, but this is really and truly like the crux of a relationship. But if your communication is not there, then your relationship is not there. And that's being brutally honest. Like, let me tell you about it. Like, if you can't talk to the person, like, how are you going to be able to communicate? How are you going to be able to get your message across? How are you guys going to be able to not argue so much? How are you guys going to be able to live in a coexisting space without tension? You feel me? Like, when I say building, like common goals within building, you guys have to be on the same accord with, like, yes, we have a problem here, 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 here. Now, what are we going to do about it? We have a problem with communicating, right? Like, when we're both angry, we're both fire hazards that's just trying to burn everything down. I don't know, I'm being dramatic. But like, we have to work on communicating with each other while we're angry and not taking everything to heart, or just our delivery, right? That's perfect. That's one thing within a relationship that I have to work on when communicating while I'm angry. My delivery sucks. Like, he says I say harsh things, and I need to watch the way I say things to people. And that's something that I need to work on. Okay, like, fine, I agree, fine, okay, whatever. So that's something that I can say is something that I need to work on, so that we can build within where, like, as we're growing and building together as a relationship. So what is something that you want to build within your relationship so that it can be strong? Now, I'm not saying like long-term goals as far as like the kids thing. Like, that was long-term compatibility, right? What I'm talking about is like, what is within your personal dynamic that you guys need to work on, that you guys want to reach? Like, in 5 years, do you want to be proposed to? Do you guys want to be married? Do you guys, like, what's the goal? Like, do you have a time span on when you guys want to have your first children? Like, what is the thing between you guys, right? Or is it just like you'll see where your career is at the moment? Is your partner on the same side as you? Like, do they agree as well? For example, I don't want to have kids at all in my 20s, but I want to be done with them by the time I'm 32. So for a good while, I'ma just be pregnant for a minute. Number 4, I cannot stress this enough, right? So this is gonna kind of be like a slash moment, right? Like, to build a strong relationship, I don't think that either one of you should go to bed angry, or at least go to bed without being on a common ground, right? So for example, if your dynamic is, okay, we're gonna talk about it later because we're too angry right now, then that's being on a common ground. I think when you sleep on the anger, it builds a lot of anxiety. I know it does for me. It builds a lot of anxiety. You often can't sleep. You're angry in the morning. Why would you want to wake up still furious, you know? If you guys go to bed together, like, on common ground that, okay, we're going to talk about it, we're just not going to talk about it right now, we're going to get our space, we're going to come back, we're going to clear our heads, and we're just going to talk. Having that common ground is not only like leads to a better future, it leads to better understanding, leads to better communication, and also gives you hope, because it's like, okay, we're not just falling apart here, we're actually wanting to take the steps to get better at whatever issue we're going through. So number 4, do not go to bed without being on some sort of a common ground, without being angry. Next, number 5, do not forget to date each other. I don't care if you're already married, I don't care how long you guys have been dating, always keep the love alive. You always have to tell them that you love them. Constantly remind them that you're there for them. Constantly remind them, give them romance, right? Like, I am a sucker, son, for some romance. I love it. I love surprises. I love gifts. I love giving surprises. I love giving gifts. Like, I just love the energy. I love the spontaneous aspect of a relationship dynamic, right? And so with all of that, I am saying that you can't let your relationship get boring because it gets dull. Then all of a sudden you have someone looking somewhere else. Then you're having someone like have some sort of tension built against you because you're bored and you didn't think that this is what it was going to be like in the future. You guys thought that you would always have fun together like you did back in the good old days. Like, I don't want to ever be like, oh, I wish we can go back to the good old days, because we're not like that anymore. I don't want that in my relationship. I want to continuously build good days, so that way when we talk about the good old days, it's something that happened yesterday. Like, remember that? Like, remember when you did that dumb stuff? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I want to have those conversations. Even though we can still reminisce on what happened back then, I don't want to be like, man, I wish we can go back to when we were younger, because that's when we were just so in love. Like, no, I don't want to. No, I want to constantly be in love. Like, I want to keep on choosing my partner every single day. And one way to do that is to keep the love alive. And how are you going to do that? You're going to go on dates, right? And that doesn't mean spending money necessarily. That means, you know, doing something for them that you know that they would love. Telling them they're beautiful. Smacking their butt while they're in the kitchen. Oh, that could be problematic for some people, but basically doing something to let them know that you're there for them, that you love them, and that you're gonna keep this relationship alive keeps a strong relationship. Number 5 and number 6 really go hand in hand, because I say don't forget to date each other. Don't forget to keep the love and the spice alive, you know? And so number 6, I'm saying to have fun. Even when there's different stresses with jobs and kids and family and etc., and keeping people happy, you can't forget to keep each other in mind and keep each other happy and to have fun, right? Like, there's times where you're going to have to escape together and just enjoy each other like it was before you had children, right? And so I don't think that stuff should ever end. I think that, like, continuing, like I said, to date and to keep the fun alive should always be a priority within a relationship. Lastly, how to keep a relationship strong: take mental notes. I'm being honest here. So when I say to take mental notes, I'm saying that you can't forget the different things that your partner likes, or what they dislike. You can't forget how they want to be treated versus how they don't want to be treated. You cannot forget how they don't like to be talked to versus how they do like to be talked to, right? Like, you're literally merging your life with another human being, and if you expect them to have the same respect for you, you need to also give them that same respect. You feel me? Like, you have to be able to engage with them, to talk with them, and to know who they are. So with this in mind, you cannot forget to always keep your partner in mind and to always remember what they do and don't like. No matter if you're just like, oh well, I like to do it, so whatever, they're just gonna have to get over it. That's not fair to them, right? And so just like you wouldn't want them doing that to you, you have to keep mental notes on basically their preferences. And so the reason why I stress that so much is because even if you're together for a long periods of times, oftentimes we can get comfortable, right? And like, even though getting comfortable is a good thing, you don't want to get too comfortable to the point to where you're not taking anybody into consideration, you're taking people for granted, and you're not letting them know that you love them. So that's all I have for you guys today. I know I said I didn't want this to be super long, but it's probably super long because I feel like I've been talking for so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you never miss when I post a new video. Follow me on my Instagram and my Snapchat and whatever other platform that I put on here, guys. Thank you guys for everything, and I'll see you next time.